It's becoming increasingly clear that Kamala Harris is at least considering another presidential run in 2028. Whether people support her or not, the reality is that she will likely remain one of the most prominent figures in the Democratic Party for the foreseeable future. But if she truly wants a real path to winning the presidency in 2028, several things would need to change, not just in how she campaigns, but in how she communicates, how she defines her message, and how she reconnects with voters who have grown frustrated with politics as usual. The first thing she would need is a clear, disciplined message. One of the biggest problems facing Democrats right now is that many voters simply don't know what the party stands for anymore. Ask the average voter to name a few defining Democratic policies, and many will struggle to answer. That kind of messaging vacuum creates an opening for opponents to define the party instead. If Harris wants to succeed, she cannot allow that to happen. Her campaign would need to revolve around a handful of clear, repeatable priorities that voters hear again and again. Issues like lowering the cost of living, fixing the healthcare system, expanding economic opportunity, and reducing the influence of dark money in politics. The key isn't just having policies, it's making sure voters actually understand them. That leads directly to another challenge she would need to address: communication. Harris is widely recognized as an intelligent and experienced public official, but at times the way she speaks can come across as overly formal or overly complicated. When speeches start sounding like policy briefings rather than conversations with everyday people, voters can begin to feel disconnected. Critics often describe this as word salad, but the real issue is simpler than that. Many Americans just want politicians who speak clearly and directly. If Harris runs again, she would need to make a conscious effort to simplify how she explains her ideas. Not by dumbing down the substance, but by translating complex policies into language that everyday voters immediately understand. The most successful national candidates are rarely the most academic speakers. They're the ones who can make complicated ideas feel clear, relatable, and relevant to people's daily lives. Another critical part of the strategy would involve rebuilding trust with key parts of the Democratic coalition, especially younger voters and the progressive wing of the party. Over the last several years, many voters on the left have grown increasingly frustrated with what they see as a party that talks about bold change, but often delivers incremental results. One of the most visible areas of tension has been U.S. foreign policy, particularly the conflict between Gaza and Israel. Many progressive voters have been deeply critical of how the conflict has been handled by leaders in the United States, and that frustration has created a real political divide within the Democratic coalition. If Harris were to run in 2028, she would need to address that divide directly. That doesn't necessarily mean adopting every position demanded by activists, but it does mean acknowledging the concerns many voters have raised about humanitarian issues, civilian casualties, and the long-term direction of U.S. foreign policy in the region. Showing a willingness to engage with those concerns, rather than avoiding them, could go a long way toward rebuilding trust with younger voters who want to feel that their voices are actually being heard. At the same time, she would also need to balance those concerns with the broader strategic relationship between the United States and Israel, making it clear that her approach would focus on both long-term security and human rights. Another key piece of any successful campaign would be the choice of a running mate. If Harris were building a ticket designed to project energy, reform, and generational change, someone like Jon Ossoff could make a compelling choice. As a relatively young senator from Georgia, Ossoff has built a reputation as a disciplined communicator and a strong advocate for government accountability. He has also been outspoken about the need to reduce the influence of dark money in politics, which would reinforce the broader message of political reform. Beyond policy alignment, he also brings a certain level of charisma and generational contrast that could help balance the ticket and appeal to younger voters who want to see new leadership emerging within the party.
See, I get why people voted for him. Because even before he came on the scene, America had the most corrupt political system in the Western world. It's been running on corporate money, secret money, billionaire money, both sides. And it's worse than ever now. Citizens United was the worst court decision in modern American history. And when members of Congress aren't begging for money from lobbyists, they're trying to dodge getting carpet bombed by these super PACs. Senators get threatened every day with millions and millions of dollars of attack ads over the votes that we take. And see, this is why nothing works for ordinary people. It's not because of woke college kids or trans students or because there are interracial couples in cereal commercials. It's because the people's elected representatives don't represent the people, they represent the donors. And that corruption is why they just defunded nursing homes to cut taxes for the rich. Corruption is why you pay a fortune for prescriptions. Corruption is why your insurance claim keeps getting denied. Corruption is why hedge funds get to buy up all the houses in your neighborhood, driving you out of the market, and then your corporate landlord ignores your calls during a gas leak. Corruption is why that ambulance costs $3,000 after you just had to get your choking toddler to the hospital. So Trump promised to attack a broken system. I get it. Ripe target. But here's the thing, he's a crook and a con man, and he wants to be a king. Yes, the system really is rigged, but Trump's not unrigging it, he's re-rigging it for himself.
Finally, Harris would need to run a campaign that feels energetic, disciplined, and focused from start to finish. In modern presidential politics, perception often matters just as much as policy. Voters want to see confidence, clarity, and consistency. Every speech, every interview, and every policy proposal would need to reinforce the same central message about what she stands for and why her presidency would represent something new, rather than simply a continuation of the current political environment. These are just a few of the major things Kamala Harris would need to focus on if she truly wants a serious path to winning the presidency in 2028. Of course, campaigns are unpredictable and the political landscape can shift quickly. But what's clear is that success would require more than simply running again. It would require redefining how she connects with voters and what kind of future she's asking the country to believe in. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more political analysis like this, make sure to like the video, leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future uploads.